Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It is now Friday evening and you're going to see this video on Sunday morning. It is currently snowing like gangbusters outside. I mean, it's putting it down. Earlier today, we only got maybe 2 or 3 inches of snow. You know, kind of snowed on and off for several hours. And then the hunt man and I, we had to run out for a little bit. The roads were pretty clear on the way out, no big deal. But on the way back, it was a completely different story. In the last hour and a half, we probably got another 3 inches of snow. And I think this is just a teaser. The real storm is going to be here Sunday night into Monday. So a lot of snow on the ground right now, but we will definitely be plowing snow in the morning, and I will report back then. A little breezy this morning. I got the tractor warming up. Gonna blow some snow off of it. I don't even know if I'm going to put the plow on. I may just use the rear blade. There's probably only about 5 inches of snow. Maybe 6. Yeah, probably about 6 inches. So it's only been below freezing for a couple days now, and the stone in the driveway is not frozen in place yet. So with that being said, I'm just using this rear blade, mostly pushing backward. If I try pulling forward, I'm going to be pulling a lot of stone off the driveway. So until we get a good solid freeze or just a little bit of hard pack on there, I'll have to plow everything this way. But that's fine. I'm going to park up the Subaru. Actually, I'm going to leave it running because the hunt man and I are going to make a sheets run here. But I just checked the weather forecast. It looks as though the big storm they were calling for Sunday into Monday, as of right now, it looks like it's going to be farther south. I think we're only going to get a couple inches here. I think the cabin's going to get hammered though. Not only with snow, but I think they're going to get a bunch of ice first, like a lot of ice, which is kind of concerning. That's going to be hard on all the trees down there. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But probably first of the week, when things settle down a little bit, I'm going to head down there and we'll see what's up. All right, the hunt man and I are headed to Sheets. When I come back, I'll finish up the plowing. But I managed to wrestle Hunter into a jacket this morning. He's not a big fan of wearing a jacket, not at all. But you can see, using that rear blade backwards, actually, that works pretty good, really. But they were piling them up everywhere last night. There were cars in the ditches and into trees and all over the place. The township truck went into there last night. This bend right here is usually good for about 4 or 5 people there each year. All right, made our sheets run, headed back to the house. Getting a little bit of sunlight, that's melting this off right here. But what I'm trying to do here is get some of the snow off, obviously, but also just kind of get a nice hard pack going because it's going to stay cold for a while. That way, whenever it snows more, you know, I could put the plow on and just rip this out pretty quick. I want to mention something. These tires are phenomenal. Now, I'm not working it real hard, but you know, our driveway is pretty steep, and I really like the tires on this tractor. Really, really good traction. Something else that I wanted to mention, I published a video just about, I don't know, a couple, 3 hours ago, and there's a reoccurring comment that keeps coming up. The most popular comment by far, and that is why Levi and I did not use that trailer to haul all the fire starter to the post office. And that's a great question. The reason is I'm probably a little bit weird. I mentioned this before, but I want to get the inside of that trailer all painted, the floor painted, and get it all done on the inside before I start using it, because I know if I don't do it now, it will never happen. And that's why I haven't used it yet. That's the only answer. So we made a couple trips. We've been real busy with like the fire starter and everything, but I need to get that trailer inside, get that stuff all done on the inside, and then we can start using it. I look long term, you know what I mean? I don't look short term. In other words, I don't worry about having to make a couple trips to the post office, even though it would have been faster to take that right now. I just look at the long-term stuff. You know, eventually I'll get that all done. We'll be using it all the time, but that is why we didn't use it. All right, we're gonna head over to neighbor Cliff's here, hit his driveway real quick. right, that cliff's all taken care of. Gonna head back over to the house, and I have to run out for a little bit, and then when I come back, we'll go down and hit my mom's driveway and probably Levi and Kate's. But I tell you what, this heater will cook you out here. It will. I don't even think it's 20 degrees, probably about 18 degrees right now, and I got her down to 1. All right, I just got back to the house here. I had to run out for a little bit. I went and looked at a house with my niece and her husband. They're looking to buy, possibly. They're looking at a bunch of different houses, but they wanted me to go along, and I checked the place out as best I could. I'm not a home inspector or anything like that, but I just can't wrap my head around housing prices right now. I just can't. They're still through the roof, but I'm starting to see, like this place, for example, has been on the market for 100 days. So I think prices are going to start coming down some. It's really hard to say. But the house we looked at was built in 78, about 1,670 square feet, split entry, and you know, around here, it's well over $300,000. When that house was built, it was probably $60,000, you know? I don't know. Hunter's checking out the car. All right, we're going to head down to my mom's place now, hit her driveway real quick, but I just checked the forecast again. They're only calling for a couple inches on Monday here, so everything will be south of us. Almost done down here at my mom's place. I hit this one pretty hard. I'm not worried about taking a little bit of stone. I can always fix it later, but I know she's going to be heading out for some groceries maybe tomorrow, so I want to get this one pretty good, as you can see. Back up at the house here, gonna head down to the wood yard, get a bucket of firewood. All right, so it's later on in the evening and I'm coming to you from HQ. At least I think that's what we're gonna call the building, HQ. We haven't decided entirely. It's still between that and company shed. But regardless, I've got a rip-roaring fire going in the wood stove. It is very chilly outside tonight. And I just checked the forecast. It looks like the big Snowmageddon is going to be south of us. They're not calling for much here where we live. Now the cabin, that is a different story. There's already over a foot of snow on the ground down there now, and they're calling for 8 to 12 inches more, like Sunday night through Tuesday morning. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's just snow and not a whole lot of ice. I don't know. I don't know what would be worse. I think the ice is worse for the trees. It really builds up and with a lot of weight. We'll just have to see what happens. Sometime this coming week, I'm going to go down there and kind of check things out. I need to swap out some batteries and some trail cameras. We'll go for a little hike, look at the trees. Should be a nice time. But the other thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up, The other day I had a can of WD-40. We all know WD-40. And I put just a little squirt on the door latch of the wood stove. And I mentioned I do that maybe 2 or 3 times a winter. I mean just a little shot, right? And it keeps it working real good. And there was a lot of comments in the last video asking why I would use a water displacement product instead of an oil. Well, WD-40 is a lubricant as well. Yeah, it says right there, lubricates moving parts such as hinges, wheels, rollers, chains, gears. It penetrates and it displaces moisture. But I knew the history of WD-40, and today I just went down a rabbit hole and I kind of filled in the blanks for everything that I couldn't remember. But it stops squeaks, removes and protects, loosens rusted parts, frees sticky mechanisms, drives out moisture. So WD-40 was started, the company, in 1953. And back then, I took some notes here, the company was called Rocket Chemical Company. They're a small company in San Diego, California. They had just 3 employees. And I guess they got like a government contract, and it was in the aerospace industry, and I think basically rockets or missiles, and they wanted something to protect the Atlas rocket, I think is what it was, from rust. And they came up with WD-40. And WD stands for water displacement. The 40 was their 40th attempt at it, okay? So if they got the right product at 26, this would probably be called WD-26 or 19 or 101. But it is WD-40, water displacement, 40th attempt, okay? And they realized their market was kind of small, and they realized a lot of their employees were taking the product home with them and using it for other things. So I think it was back in 1958. I'll have to check here. Yeah, they began selling WD-40 commercially as a general purpose lubricant and rust preventative. All right, so in 1969, the Rocket Chemical Company officially changed its name to WD-40, reflecting the success of their single product. Now, they do have a lot of other stuff as well, and this is not a sponsored video or anything. I just have some cans of WD-40 laying around like I guess I'm sure everybody else does. But this one is pretty nice as well. This is a dry lube, and I'll tell you what I use this for. It says on the can, it's dirt and dust resistant, great for table saws, drills, and lathes. Well, you know that bagging machine that we use to bag up fire starter? After you use it a whole bunch, the chute that comes down, it'll get just the slightest bit of waxy buildup on it, okay? So I'll use some regular WD-40, spray it on that chute, wipe it down with a rag, and it'll clean that wax right off. Then I take a little shot of the dry lube. Actually, I hit it pretty good with the dry lube and just wipe it off a little bit, and it seems to keep everything flowing a lot better for a longer period of time. But for woodworking stuff, I didn't even know they had this up until maybe 4 or 5 months ago. It may be a good solution because, yeah, dirt and dust resistant. WD-40 Specialist Dry Lube. Might be something worth checking out. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I do. I appreciate y'all being here. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on. I think that's it. We'll catch you on the next one.